everyone, I am Anuja. We will be discussing on social work. I'm a social work professional and having a 30 years of experience in working with communities with different organizations at district to state to different levels. I have completed my masters in social work, in business administration, then public health management. So, in view of this, I have prepared these PPTs. Hope it will help you or it will give a picture on social work and how to deal with social work. This is not as only for the students, those who are pursuing social work. It will also help those who have already passed out and set up themselves in different fields or NGOs. So let's begin with the discussion. Today's topic is basics of social work and its methods, how to deal with the social work. Friends, here I just wanted to say you, when you are speaking about social work and its methods, the whole motto or focus is to know a people, to understand a people, to know its different dynamics. Then only we can help the people to help themselves. So what are our topics? Topics are definitions of social work, its objectives and components, what are the values and ethics, different approaches of social work, and a comparison between traditional and modern social work or professional social work, I can say. Then one of the methods that is social casework. So we will discuss a little bit about the casework and its nature and characteristics. What are the different phases supposed to be followed in a social work. So with this aspects, we will be having these PPTs. So let's go ahead. Just have a look on this. What do you think? Is this a social work? Here we can say some snaps of donations. People are distributing materials during day leaves and receiving some donations. So like this. I don't think this is a social work. So what is this then? Basically, when we speak about social work, it is a profession that helps people to help themselves in need of whenever they are facing any kind of problem. So, it is a sustainable process. It is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Why I am saying this? Because from the very beginning, I am saying this social work or a professional social work, our focus is on individual and its communities, to whom, with whom he is speaking, what are the problems he is facing. So whole about the person. So it promotes social change, it says about development, it says cohesions and empower people and communities to help there or to find out a solution whatever the problems they are facing. Why do you think, why should one should study social work? Because it is very essential to know human behavior and its society. What are the vulnerable groups? Because a person, when a person with a problem we are saying, then we should know who are those people, who are those groups. Then to bring social justice and equity in the society, to develop the professional skills, to strengthen oneself, so that the person can do counseling or can do an analysis or can interact with a person. What is the objective of social work? What do you think? It boosts or it is always promotes a well-being state. It helps to meet basic human needs because needs are unlimited. But here we want to say, or we are speaking about some basic needs one must be having in the society to have a or to lead a good life. It aims to bring harmony in the society. That again on equity term, equity as as you might be knowing, equity means the person, those who need, we will only provide that much. It's not, there is a difference between equity and equality. So to attain equality, one should undergo the process of equity, create opportunities so that the individual, group, or community can do retrospective analysis of whatever their situations to become self-reliant. Because here we are speaking about a sustainable change. So to have a sustainable change or to attain a sustainable change state, one should analyze its own situation so that he or she can find out that particular solution for themselves, because solutions are not equal across. Then it aims to build up an ecosystem in the society. I think I could able to explain exactly what is the need of the social work, because without knowing the need, it is very difficult to undergo or to carry out a particular situation. So one should know why we are studying social work. Just there is a difference I wanted to show you: traditional or voluntary social work and professional social work. Because social work is not a recent origin, it was there earlier and it's also now, and it will be there. Then, but there is some difference between traditional and professional social work. So now we are saying about focusing about professional social work. Traditional social work, it was the PPTs are available with you. You can anytime refer. But just I am explaining something for your understanding. This traditional or social work, which is basically from the voluntary perspective. It means from the donor perspective. Whatever the donor wants, he or she will do that. Whereas in professional social work, it is exclusively from the perspective of the client. It means whatever the client desires, or we are totally onto the client. Whatever the problem, whatever the solution, whatever the community and group wants, accordingly we will offer them the baskets of choices. But it was not there in the traditional social work. Here, actions are very spontaneous. But in professional social work, it is very structured and having certain goal to attain. And I can say in the professional or traditional social work, there was no such guided specific methods. They were not following any scientific methods to help the person. So it was basically a charity based thing. But in professional social work, it is a sustainable solution and it follows certain standard rules and it establishes certain accountability, right? Then let's have a look on the components of social work. In professional social work, we are aiming on 4 P's. What are those 4 P's? That is person, problem, place, and process. So here person means, I am from the very beginning saying, person means one individual having a problem, or it is not exactly only the individual, it is also a group, it could be group, it could be community also. But that should be considered as a person, right? So in person, it is totally dealing with the individual, group, and community, and the problem and they are facing, and certain kind of professional assistant, whatever they need from a social casework, social casework. So this is what a person means. Then what is the problem? Problem, as you know, it could be social, it could be emotional, it could be psychological, or economical, whatever it may be. It may be arise from such and certain situations, from frustrations, some maladjustment. It could be anything. So next we will see place. Place means here it denotes an agency and an organization that provides psychosocial services or support to the person to help themselves, right? Or to the group or to the community. That is what the place means. Then process, it is a continuous one and it follows certain scientific methods. That is why it will go step by step. It is a progressive transaction between a caseworker and a client, right? So here client could be group or community. It's not only individual, right? Then friends, if you will see, if you are doing something without following any values or without having any ethics, it will not work, because here there will be no principle. So without principle, how the things will move? I don't think so. For everything, and exclusively when we are discussing about professional social worker work, it's certainly having certain values. So what are those? Here it says about personal integrity. It means you are accountable, you are mature, you are responsible. Then second is having service attitude. Here again I wanted to say attitude is the first and foremost thing for everything. And here for professional social workers must be having certain attitude to serve people, right? Then social justice, we should know what are the how the justice could be given to the persons. Then only the person will come out of come out of their problem, and he or she will be having some satisfactory solutions, right? Then the respect for dignity of the person. This is also very very important, because if one everyone must is having certain dignity in the society, right? So that dignity need to be restored, or their dignity should be respected, I can say. Because when you respect a person, no, then the person himself or herself feel enough or capable to address something, because he he or she will see, yes, my strengths are being acknowledged. That is why respect for the dignity of the person is very important. So that we need to do. That is why greetings in a particular process is very important. In when you are doing some professional social work, no, so there greetings, greeting of people, it plays a greater role. So that need to be given importance, right? Then the then the relationship, because you know human beings are social persons, social beings. So that is why they are always having, or they cannot allow themselves in the society. There must be, they are having some certain of relationship between the individuals. So that need to be understand. We once problem or group's problem or community problem, if will not um, be understood from the perspective of relationship, then it cannot be called as a sustainable one, because the person will be there in the society and having certain relationship with his ecosystem, right? Then the core competence, every individual is different, you might be knowing. The dynamics of groups are also different, and the culture, that is also different from communities to communities. That is why core competence of the particular unit need to be understood. Here unit means it could be individual, it could be group, it could be community, right? I think I am uh, I, I'm giving some sort of reference to know you social work in detail, right? Then coming about ethics in social work. While doing professional social work, these things to be given importance, like confidentiality of a client's information. That should be there. Then respect and non-judgmental attitude. Then third is responsibility towards society. Then professional behavior. Professional behavior should be very purposeful one, because from the very beginning you need to know the dynamics of your unit, and you should not be judgmental at all, and the client or the unit must be having some sort of faith that whatever he or the group or community is sharing, or whatever the data you are collecting from the particular situation, that is going to be confidential, right? Students, here you can see the various approaches to social work. We have already discussed in detail the voluntary social work and professional social work, and from the pictures also it is very evident. Let's go to the next slide. Traditional and professional social work. Yes. Now it's social work and its different methods. Friends, the social work methods is again divided into two broad aspects. What are those? That is primary work method, then secondary work method. Under primary work method, there are again three subgroups. What are those? Social casework, community organization, then social group work. Let's come to the secondary work method. Here, under this, we are dealing with the social action, social welfare administration, social work research. Then this whole method, you can see it is divided into 6 subgroups under the broad two heads, that is primary work method and secondary work method. Why? What are these primary work method and social secondary work methods? Here you can say very in brief, you can say primary methods are those where you are directly interacting with the your unit, with the client. It could be group, it could be a community, it could be an individual, right? Then what are these secondary social work methods? Here it, it is creating a supportive environment or supportive mechanism where these primary methods are dealt properly, right? Or this in primary methods, because of the secondary work method, you can very well delivering the primary work methods, right? So we will be discussing in detail. It's very simple. In primary methods, as I have already mentioned, it is directly interacting with the client. In the secondary methods, it is a supportive mechanism where we are doing some sort of planning, some policy, some systematic changes, some policy decisions, who which are indirectly assisting the primary methods or supports the client's decision making process, right? Here, just have a look. Social casework or casework. Do you think it is different? It's not very, there is a hairline difference, you can say. Casework means dealing with an individual. Social casework is casework with a purpose, right? With a purpose means the person is in social casework, we are into solving an individual's problem. So both are same. Casework with a purpose, with an individual or with a problem, and social casework also the same thing. The basic thing is this is with the society, and this could be a person of this kind of, right? Next. So we will be discussing on the social casework. Just have a look. As I have already mentioned you, methods could be anything, but here in while doing professional or discussing professional social work, broadly we are following three methods, that is social casework, group work and community organization. So the different phases or different stages of a social casework we will be discussing. First is intake and assessment, building trust, intervention and supportive environment. Then you were evaluating and following up certain process. Then the goal setting. Then psychosocial study of the particular individual. So here we are in and around of an individual, right? So going into this social casework, I think I'm just taking a pause so that it will help you to know or to self-evaluate it yourself, that whatever points we have discussed, actually it is, do you think you and me, we are both on the same page? Because before going into the one of the methods, we should know the basics of social work. That I have already cleared you, and just have a recapitulate what are the points or what are the details of the thing of social work. Then in our next discussion, we will be doing a detailed analysis of the social casework method, right? Thank you, friends.